I've been thinking about trying out the B&W companion fifth wheel hitch for a long time. As we've traveled throughout the years, I run across those in campgrounds, and they always seem to be in pretty good shape. Unlike our Reese, which has been a good hitch, but hasn't held up very well. Our Reese started out with a nice smooth, kind of a semi-glossy, smooth black finish, and even though we use a lube plate all the time, it still seemed to get scratched sometimes, and then the scratches would just rust. We've also gone through 2 rubber handles on the handle that have just cracked and broke off. I replaced it once, but after the second one cracked and broke off, I just put Gorilla Tape on there, as you can see. That handle also got bent a little bit because it kind of sticks up, and once on a really sharp left-hand turn, the pin box hit it and bent it a little bit. Not a big deal, it's still functional. The whole thing is still functional, but it doesn't look great. We've had that Reese hitch since 2020 when we actually replaced another Reese hitch just because they wanted us to try out their new 27K. And you know, we've gone for 4 straight years with thousands and thousands of miles on this thing. We've never ever had a mechanical malfunction until recently when that good run came to an abrupt end. So here's this scenario how this went down. I'm basically hitching up the morning that Tara and I are getting ready to leave for the national rally. My first attempt at hitching looked like the pin was a little bit high, no big deal. I come off of the pin a little bit and just try again. This is not uncommon at all to have to make multiple attempts sometimes to get it just right. On my second round, the height and alignment looked fine, but I just couldn't get it to latch and seat all the way. It's at this point that I realized that the hitch was in locked mode, as if it had received the pin and locked around it. I have a green indicator and the handle is seated, which means it's not ready to hitch. It should be a red indicator with the handle kind of out a little bit. Once I realized this, I of course tried to get it back and reset and pull the handle to get it back into hitching mode, ready to receive mode they call it, but it was just stuck and I had lots of trouble and had to apply a little bit of force to get that thing out. Okay, maybe a lot of force. Okay, so back to the start, I think. I've got it now in ready to receive mode. We're all good to go. I back onto the hitch and it seats properly this time, but the jaw only partially closes and the handle doesn't seat like it normally does, and it doesn't seem to really want to cooperate. So I decide, okay, let me just start over. Let me get off the hitch and try this again. But now I am stuck on the hitch and it won't release. At this point, I'm trying to figure out where all this went wrong, and I'm pretty sure it was my fault and that I left it in the locked position when I greased it the day before. I had messed around with it yesterday, greasing it to get it ready for today, and it was apparently in the closed and locked position when I tried to connect, and I think doing that jammed up something in the mechanism, because right now I can't get off the hitch. I can't get the hitch to latch fully, so even if I get this latched, I don't trust this hitch. So we're gonna be delayed a few days at least. Got to figure this out. But before I take all the blame for this, I was recording all this. So let's go to the instant replay and see if we can get this ruling overturned. Looking at my first approach, you can see that indeed, I did have the hitch in the proper ready to receive mode. I have a red indicator, the handle's not engaged. Now the bail pin looks like it's in, but it's actually not. It's kind of in the adjacent hole, which is just basically a holder, so don't get caught up by that bail pin. Then after that first try where it was in ready to receive mode and I come off the hitch to lower it a little bit to try again, the hitch changes itself to the locked position with a green indicator and the handle in. I've done this type of maneuver many times in the past 4 years where I've had to come off and back on the hitch, and I've never had it reset itself like that. So after further review from the booth upstairs, which was me, I was in there too, the ruling on the field stands. This problem, I believe, was due to my operator error in the long run. Yes, the hitch did kind of reset itself into the ready to receive position, or I'm sorry, into the locked position, but it's still my responsibility to check that before I try to back onto the hitch, even if it takes multiple tries. And I believe that's when the damage occurred, is when it was in the locked position, and I was still trying to jam the pin on there and get it to connect, and I think that just jammed up the works in there. But let me know what you think about this ruling down in the comments below. I'm curious about your thoughts. During all of this, I was texting Bob Persiacante, who is the wagon master for the Grand Design National Rally. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we were hitching up to leave to go to the rally. So I was texting him, letting him know, hey, we've got a hitch problem. We're probably going to be delayed. He, in turn, was actually in communication with some other people there at the rally, namely Chris, who is a Grand Design RV SRT, which is their, I think, service response team. And he has seen this hitch and issues like this many times and had some advice.
And I will smack the heck out of that thing until it finally pops.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to do.
You gotta try it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try first, is a piece of wood and a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and don't be bashful, man. You really can't hurt those hitches.
I'm not concerned about hurting the hitch because it's going to go in my junk pile over here when I'm going to try. It's been a good hitch, but it's all beat to hell, and I've been wanting to try a B&W anyways.
Yeah, so you get the 25K B&W.
Yep, exactly.
That's a good hitch. It's my favorite. I ran the Reese like you have for a long time, and literally just got tired of fighting it because the safety pins catch all the time. And
yeah,
what you just had happen was not an uncommon thing.
So at this point, after not being able to get on the hitch and now getting on the hitch and it's only partially on and it's jammed up and I can't get off the hitch, I'm considering this hitch toast. I am not going to tow with this thing, even if I can force it into submission right now. So with a little bit of violence, with a 2x4 and a 5-pound hammer, I got the pin loose and was able to get off the hitch at least. All of this happened on a Saturday, and I'm making phone calls all around to try to find the hitch that I want to try out, which is the B&W 25K Companion with a Ford puck system, but I'm really just having no luck. And the reason I wanted to try to find it locally was so that we could get it on Monday and get on the road and get to the rally. I did, of course, find this hitch on eTrailer.com, and surprisingly, their free shipping was going to get the hitch here by Wednesday, which is really amazing considering it's Saturday and there's a Sunday in there, and they're probably going to ship it on Monday. I had my eTrailer order ready to go. I was just about to click buy when I got another call from Bob, and one of his people searching around actually found a hitch not too far from us. It's 3 hours away, and I would be able to pick it up on Monday. And it was about $100 more than eTrailer, so I was torn between 6 hours of driving, $100 more plus fuel cost, and having to drive for 6 hours versus having it here, but 2 days later. But we did opt to go ahead and spend the extra money, drive the 6 hours so that we could get it on Monday and hopefully get ourselves on the road in time for the rally. So even though we did go with option one and picking it up locally just for time, clearly eTrailer was a much better option. I mean, $100 less and you're going to deliver it right here? Yeah, sign me up for that one. eTrailer has always been my go-to for a ton of RVing accessories. They have a great website and a broad selection of just about everything RV, truck, trailer related. But there are a couple of things in particular about the eTrailer website that I really appreciate. Number one is their fitment guides make sure I'm ordering the right part for my specific truck or RV. In my case, I knew I wanted the B&W, but I started by entering my truck details to filter out all the stuff that just doesn't matter to me. This allowed me to see every hitch that's out there for my truck, just in case maybe the B&W isn't the latest and greatest thing that I want to try. Maybe there's something else. It wasn't the case, but I like having that ability to filter by what's actually going to fit my truck. They have a little Q&A tab. I can go search for other questions people have asked about that product, and there are a ton. Additionally, if I don't see my answer there, I can ask somebody at eTrailer. Now, this isn't an AI bot or anything like that. An actual human who has knowledge about this product is going to read that and get back to me and probably post it on there for everybody else to have that information also. That's really cool. We want to thank eTrailer.com for supporting our channel and our content creation and sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in the B&W hitch that I'm about to show you, or you want to see any of the other hitches that I saw, I'll have links to all that stuff down below. I now have the B&W hitch in the truck and I'm ready to install it. Now, I'm not going to go through a full install video simply because there's no need to. Number one, eTrailer has that on their site, also along with other user videos. And of course, you can find installs for this stuff on YouTube. The printed instructions are also very good. I found them very easy to follow. So between that and all the videos online, trust me, you will have no problem putting this hitch in. But I do have a couple of tips to share. Tip number one is if you're replacing a hitch like I was, measure the height of your hitch before you rip it out of the truck and throw it into a trash pile. I didn't do that, so I had to drag ours out of the trash pile, kind of halfway assemble it, and see if I could get a good measurement on it. The base of this thing that the receiver sits on, of course, is designed for the puck system, and it can be configured into 6 different modes or configurations. You've got 3 different height levels for the actual height of the receiver, and you've also got 2 different pitch levels or forward levels. One is 3 inches in front of the axle, and the other is 1 inch in front of the axle. I ended up going with the 1 inch in front of the axle based on some research I did online and talking to some of our insiders. And I went with the middle height position, which turned out to be wrong, and I had to go back and drop it down to the bottom one.
I'm gonna have to lower this, man. I should have just gone with my measurements and not added that extra 1.5 or 3/4 or whatever, because look how much room I got now. It's way too much.
Tip number 2 is definitely follow the order of instructions and assemble the base with the arms before putting it in the truck. When I was online, I saw some people putting it in the truck first and then trying to put the arms in, and you don't have a whole lot of room to work with a wrench and a torque wrench in there. On that note, these things do have to be torqued down to 110 foot-pounds, and doing all that up underneath it before actually putting it in the truck was much, much easier. Also on that note, these bolts do have lock washers and does not require any sort of thread locker. However, if you know my experience, I put some blue thread locker on there anyway, just to be safe. Tip number 3, when you're mounting the base into the puck system, you might be tempted to put it in there, click it all in and go, yep, that's good. But take the time to make sure that each of those quarter turn locks into the puck system are snug. You don't want there to be rattling in there. You also don't want it to be too tight to where you've got to crank it on there and might, bend or rub something too much. So get it nice and snug, but not too snug. Take the time to do that, move your castle nut and pins and all that stuff. Since filming this hitch failure and replacement and all that, we have towed with this thing a couple of times. It's been really great, and I do have a couple of things about this hitch that I want to share. The first is that this hitch is made in America using high quality American steel. And you can tell just by looking at the parts on this thing is beefy. Speaking of the steel, that jaw that actually holds your pin, that whole thing, that 1 inch steel is machined out of one piece, and both of those pieces are machined together. So they're always going to be a matched set and never any sort of gap or anything from having one manufactured on Tuesday, one manufactured on Wednesday, and they try to put them together. That's not how they do it. This thing is really, really solid and manufactured to be nice and snug around the kingpin. And I can tell you from towing it, there is no wiggle room. This thing rides smooth. There's no chucking, there's no bouncing, and it rides really well. Another thing I like about this is the receiver, like most fifth wheel hitch, is fully articulating, meaning forward and back as well as left to right, so that way as you're turning and stuff, it's not going to bind up. One other thing I like about this one versus the Reese is it's got dampeners, so it's not just flopping around, it's actually got some like shock things in there. But combined with this leveling springy thing, it holds the receiver in the right position to hitch. It's sitting there level and ready to hitch up. It's not just flopping around. This is good not just for hitching, but when you're driving the truck around with nothing in the bed but the hitch. The Reese will sometimes just bang around, flop, 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 bang, bang. And this doesn't do that. It's nice and smooth and quiet when I'm not towing. It's also very easy to inspect before travel. I can just take one look at it, look around it, and see that, okay, everything's tight. The pins are there. I don't have to peek through any holes to see if pins are lined up or if cotter pins are on their things. I can see it all there very easily. Maintenance on the thing is super, super easy. There's only one Zerk fitting down on the bottom where the saddle pivot is, that one that goes this way. That Zerk fitting and spraying a little of lithium grease on the jaws is all you need to do to this thing. And the last thing I like about this one versus the other one is the handle is flat like this. It doesn't come up like this to be hit by the pin box. Now, granted, you got to get into a really sharp turn to do that, but obviously we did. So I appreciate that the handle is down low. And also the movement of the action, super, super smooth. Getting off the hitch, even when we've had some pressure on there, it just comes right off, no problem.
Well, that was easy.
My final tip is the most important hitching tip you're ever going to hear. But before I tell you, please click that thumbs up if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you haven't. Maybe click that bell. Those things really help our channel out a lot by telling YouTube, hey, these guys aren't bad. Maybe share their video some more with other people. So if you would do that for us, we would really appreciate it. Okay, the most important fifth wheel tip is probably no surprise to you guys who have watched us for a while. And that is, no matter what hitch you have, B&W, Reese, Kurt, whatever you've got, even though the manufacturer or the brochure might say, oh, it's guaranteed to never fail, and because of this, locks this, and blah, blah, blah. No, don't trust any of that. This is your RV and your responsibility. Do a pull check every time you hitch. And if you're not familiar with that, I'll put some links down below, but essentially what you're doing is you're testing that connection with force before you go trying to pull the RV, having it slip out and fall on your truck. Because that can not only damage your truck, it could damage your person. If you've got your arm or something there, it's just something you do not want to happen. As I mentioned, the links for all this stuff and all this information and the pull check and all that are going to be down in the description down below. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see us towing our big beast with this new hitch, as I mentioned, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.